Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking to you about seat clamps, particularly the three that I've used on this bike so far, one being the original. You're not really going to see much about that on this channel, but it's about 20 grams in weight. It's metal, had a titanium bolt in it, I think, but it still weighed 20 grams, so I wanted something a little more my style, a little more customized for me. So I ended up going aftermarket, and the first one I ended up trying was an Omni Racer teardrop shape carbon fiber clamp, and it actually is a solid carbon fiber band in a tear shape where the main circular area, that's where the seat tube goes, and then at the very end of the teardrop, basically there's a nut with a clamp that pushes against the seat tube to tighten the band itself, to squeeze the seat tube. And it worked very well until it didn't. And the reason that happened, I would say, is number one, could be design. It's a little bit shorter in terms of height, but there's a lot of clamps out there that aren't that tall, which work fine. So it's probably because of my design in my bike in particular, because I've got a titanium frame. So when I put it on, I clamped it to 5 Newton meters, which was the rating that they had max recommended for the clamp itself, and it unfortunately didn't work. It held it in place temporarily. I used carbon paste, and it but when I move around on the saddle, it'll squiggle around a little bit, and then eventually the saddle will start to sink a little bit as I keep riding. So that didn't really work out. What ended up happening was the 3mm nut at the very end, due to the fact that I had to torque it down to 6 Newton meters, ended up stripping. And that was out 30 miles in the middle of a ride, and that sucked, but thank you to Velo Cycles for hooking it up by removing the original one by cutting it off, and then giving me a generic one for like super cheap. And you guys saved me big time. Saved me a lot of hassle big time. So the second clamp that I ended up buying, or the third clamp I ended up installing on the bike, was another Omni Racer clamp. I was originally going for a Carbon TI X Clamp 3, but unfortunately they were not in stock anywhere for the matte black color in a 34.9 size. And honestly, at $35 for the clamp plus $25 for shipping, it just didn't really make sense to me to buy one. But you know, an alloy clamp that's 10 grams, pretty amazing regardless of how you looked at it. So I ended up going back to the Omni Racer route. And why? I would say that the reason I decided to try Omni Racer again was because when I first bought the first clamp, I felt, when I looked at it, it felt like a quality product to me. I know it's probably imported from China, and I'm sure there are copies of it out there, but honestly, there's different grades, and if you used any products from China, you'll know that some of them, even though they look nice on the outside, maybe they don't weigh the spec that they stated, or the size, they're not the size that they said, because I had that issue with the seat post. Or sometimes you'll just see that the finishing is awful. You know, whenever they cut the carbon fiber at the end of the seat post, maybe it's not properly sanded out, or maybe there's like chips or whatever it may be. But anyways, going on a tangent, I feel like Omni Racer's quality is actually pretty up there. It's not perfect, but it's quite good for what it is, and considering they're not charging you an excess premium for it, it's definitely something to consider. So I went with more typical style seat clamp this time. Basically, there's two for the carbon fiber ones. You'll see the ones that are all over the internet, basically, and they got two posts, and then the bolt goes through it, and then the band kind of wraps around them, and you just tighten it accordingly. And it works really well. It's actually a bit taller versus I think the old one was around 12 millimeters tall. This one's actually 16.3 millimeters based on my measuring tool. And I didn't have to torque it down to 6 Newton meters, which was really cool. I torqued it down to 5 Newton meters, and the seat post is very solid. And I used carbon paste on both of them, so it really didn't differ. It's just the fact that the clamp design works better if you need more that extra security. When I had a carbon fiber frame with a carbon fiber seat post at one point, I was able to torque that one down to 5 Newton meters with no issue, with no carbon paste. So it may differ based on the fact that I have a titanium bike now with a carbon seat post. Who knows? But yeah, I'm gonna start off the video by showing you guys first the original clamp that I had used and the design. So in case if you guys wanted to consider purchasing that one, I do recommend it as long as you think that you're not gonna have the same issue as me in terms of friction issues and the required torque. So if you have like a carbon fiber frame with a carbon fiber seat post that actually uses a seat clamp that's, you know, typical, it's definitely something to consider, especially at 8 grams. So otherwise, go with this style one because you're gonna have extra leverage and it's gonna be a 4mm bolt versus a 3 that you could potentially strip. So yeah, let me show it to you guys right now. This particular one, and you'll see that the design basically looks like that. And I basically managed to strip the inside right here because it's 3mm and it does not do well with 6 Newton meters of torque. So anyways, here's what I ended up getting. It's a more standard size clamp. Definitely a little thicker. Let's see here. 5 Newton meters. You got the Omni Racer branding. I'm pretty sure he gets these generic from China, but I wouldn't be surprised if he worked with a particular manufacturer to make sure that the quality of their products are a bit better, because I will say that there are a lot of Chinese copies on things, but for him, he does, in my opinion, he does provide the best quality so far I've seen. You'll find that, yeah, maybe there's some slight imperfections, and that might have happened during shipping, but really, all in all, you'll see that the carbon is actually pretty laid up pretty well overall, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with their products, and their service is exceptional too on eBay. They also do have their own website, so if you do order their products, sometimes they'll provide some sort of discount code, so you may want to consider shopping directly off their website as well. And so the hardware here is titanium, and then you got the clamp, which is carbon fiber. And I will show you guys the weight in a second on my scale. As you can see here, just a nice close-up look. Sorry about the dirty mat. Got dry skin. I know that's disgusting, but just want to make sure you guys can actually see the product. Yeah, it looks really good there. Alright, you guys, so here's the scale, and it's zeroed out. And I'm sure it's not 100% accurate, but it's my food scale and it's disgusting, and this is going to be the theme of my channel. Its claimed weight is 11 grams on the website. Here it says 10 grams. The actual product, 12 grams. Oh, 11 to 12 grams, approximately there. Let's try it again. Let's try zeroing it out. And then see what happens. Oh, there you go, 11 grams. So it matches up with the website, because my scale is not the greatest. And let's see, let me grab my other current seat clamp and then compare the weight. Here's the clamp that was included with my Whatley. Looks pretty generic. It follows the titanium look, I guess, if you want to call it that. And 11 grams versus 19. Let's weigh that again. 20 grams. 20 grams. 20 grams. Okay, so that's a weight savings of 9 grams. Is it life-changing? Not even close. But you've got the slight difference in weight, got the aesthetics of the carbon, and it's the UD matte style. That's what I prefer because my wheels are basically that same color. And yeah, in terms of thickness, let me measure it for you guys right now. Actually, let's see. I wish I had an actual decent camera thing to hold it. So the overall thickness of the clamp is about 16, just over 16 millimeters. That could be an issue for folks, especially if you got a super short seat post thingamabob or a seat tube like I do. I was brilliant and I cut mine shorter, so it's not recommended, but you know, I got it to work and I'm using a sleeve anyhow. So in terms of that, there we go, just dropped it. Hopefully I didn't crack anything because it is carbon fiber. And we did it again. Anyways, let's see if it'll slide right on there. Yeah. Okay, so it slides right on with no issue whatsoever. I kind of want it to sit even with the titanium, but I think I might bring it up a smidge just for the sake of clearance at the bottom there, and then also because I want to kind of cover up the titanium lip there if possible. Yeah, so that's what it's gonna look like when we get back in there with you guys in a second once I get the post back. Well, I don't exactly condone this, but max 5 torque, 5 newton meters of torque. Because my seat post will slip, I do set mine to 6 newton meters of torque. And so far I haven't had any issues with other clamps other than the one that I stripped, which still held fine technically. I stripped it when I had to pull over to help someone pump up their tire, and my pump is inside this seat post because it's ninja like that, haha, from Toe Peak. And yeah, I ended up managing to strip it afterwards, and I knew it was coming, but I just didn't listen to myself. Anyways, as you can see, this is what the clamp looks like. It's a little bit on the larger side towards the back. I wasn't thrilled about that look, but it is what it is. But I couldn't get myself to spend the $50 to get a carbon TI aluminum one, which would weigh about approximately the same and serve the same purpose. And they don't have them in stock anyhow. So yeah, this is the Omni Racer one, as you can see. Sorry about the poor lighting. Looks really good, regardless of, you know, my opinion. I think it's great. It has the matte finish, so it kind of goes along with the rest of my stuff. Matte wheels, matte seat post, matte stem, matte fork. Yeah, you get the idea. Yeah, torque to 2, basically 6 newton meters, and I'm gonna ride it around before I actually post this up for you guys, so that, just to be sure that there's no issues. But I'm pretty sure Omni Racer's products are pretty good quality overall. And other than that, yeah, this is pretty much it, you guys. I'm gonna cut this video short because I'm gonna keep dragging it out. If you guys have any questions, leave it in the comments below. Please like and subscribe if you want to see more of this content. Thanks.